What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon, MLB DFS video. It is Thursday. It is May 30th, and we are back, hopefully, helping you become a better DFS player. If you've got questions, get those down below. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Hopefully, you're in for a treat. We do things a little bit differently here. We're going to go through every single game on this slate. So we have an 8-game slate. I think we can only play 7 of those, though, because one is currently not on DraftKings unless you play the all-day slate with Fanduel, which not a lot of people do. But I wanted to give you guys as much information as we possibly can. Now, I did not have a video yesterday, and this is why it's imperative. Go to our Discord. In the description of this video is the link to our Discord, and I let you guys know I woke up super sick. I had no voice. I was very dizzy, so I was unable to make a video, but we still got the content out to you. We still had the article out there. We still had the core plays in the Discord. Everything is there. So and I'll just reiterate, if you don't see a video from us by, at the very latest, noon, Eastern, Central, whatever, noon, your time, probably not a video, but we've probably communicated over at our Discord. So definitely check the Discord out. In the link, or in the description down below, will also be the link to our article for today. So that being said, we have 2 giveaways every single day. They're very easy to do, and they go hand in hand with each other. The first one, there'll be a keyword somewhere in this video. I will throw out a keyword, and all you got to do is comment that keyword down below, and you'll be entered for a free chance to win a free week. Now, that will go with this one, but if this video gets at least 50 likes, you are a YouTube subscriber, and you've left a comment, you have a chance to win a free week on top of that. So you could win 2 weeks together, same video. We've never had that happen before. 100 likes on a video is a chance at a free month. 150 likes is a free $200 a year. And if this video gets 150 or more, or 200 more likes, you have a chance to win a $500 lifetime pass. The other giveaway we're having, we have less than 700 subscribers to go. If we can get to 10,000 YouTube subscribers before the 4th of July, I'm going to give away a $500 lifetime pass to one lucky person in that video. So that being said, let's see who the 2 winners from 2 days ago are. In that video, we got 67 likes with 49 comments. So we're going to see the first one, who is the winner of the free week. That is Kurt Mahler, 7012. And the keyword was Angel, but we're not counting this one. We're going to re-roll it. Kurt has a chance to win again. I believe Kurt's won multiple times now, and you guys can too. So, Kurt, let me know that you saw this, and then email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com, just to let me know your username again on the website. I cannot remember it at the moment, and I will give you a free week. Now, we're going to re-roll this until we see Angel as the keyword for Angel Hernandez, because he's trash and he retired finally. There you go, Manny Coelho, 4117. That was the keyword, Angel. Congratulations, Manny. Email me as well, dfshelp1@gmail.com, with your username. I do believe you have a username, because I believe you've won either this year or you won a couple of times in the MLB last year. So 2 different winners. Never had the same winner win twice in the same day. Maybe we can do that today. So just kind of looking at this, we have 3 games early and 4 games on the main 6 p.m. slate. Not the best of days, but luckily we've got PGA for Thursday. We've got NASCAR, MMA this weekend. We're very excited. We've got a ton of content coming your way. But I wanted to tell you, if you're new to the channel, at the end of the video, we are going to give you the top 20 batters after 10,000 simulations. Now, we usually do 20,000 simulations if it's a full slate that starts about 6 p.m. With a smaller slate like this and the majority of the games being weird, probably only going to have 10,000 simulations. But we're going to give you the initial 10,000 simulations at the end of this video, so stick around for that as well. So, let's dig right in. First game on the slate, Athletics at the Rays. At the moment, it's Kyle Muller versus to be announced. If we dig in and we look, it looks like it's going to be Tyler Alexander. Now, he last pitched on Friday, so it would make sense that it would be his turn in the rotation. And we stacked against him in that game. We had Kansas City bats, and it went off for us. He gave up 8 earned runs there. Now, Oakland took the first game. Tampa Bay took the second game. Who is going to get the rubber match? Who's going to win this game here? I don't like Tyler Alexander here. I really don't like Alexander, and I really just Mueller not bringing much to the table. I mean, he's gone 4 innings, the max. 5.1 on April 1st, but it's been a minute. That's the only thing that scares me. He doesn't go deep into games. Anything can happen. I'm probably off of both of these pitchers. I'd rather look at the bats in this one. I don't love the bats. I don't love this game, but we don't have very many games to choose from. So A's bats that I will look at, Brent Rooker, Shea Langoliers I would look at, J.D. Davis a little bit, J.J. Bleday, maybe Abraham Toro. A very cheap option would be Miguel Andujar. And if you're an A's fan, let me know down below. What are your thoughts on, if you are an A's fan, what are your thoughts on the amazing play-by-play announcer lady for the A's? I haven't heard any good. I've not heard one person that enjoys her, and I don't understand what the thought process is. I mean, I think I understand the thought process, but it's just bad. Like, there's no enthusiasm. She doesn't know if sometimes it's going to be a home run. It's wild. It's wild. So, maybe a little bit of Seth Brown, but I don't love the A's. I don't love the offense as much. And being this early game, like 3 games, there's not a ton to go off of. But we'll make do with what we can. Tampa Bay side, if you don't believe in Kyle Mueller, which I really don't, you could look at Richie Palacios, but he's not doing much. Isaac Paredes you could look at. You could look at Yandy Diaz, Randy Arozarena. Cheap options would be Caballero or Johnny DeLuca, just depending on who's playing. Definitely something to look at. I don't know if... I don't love this matchup here. I really don't. This game, there's not much to like about this game. Most likely, we're going to have early slate with 1 tournament lineup and then main slate with 1 tournament lineup as well. I just don't love today. I'm probably playing very light today. Probably taking a little bit easier today over everything else. Next game, we've got the Royals at the Twins. You got Brady Singer versus Chris Paddock. Bailey Ober got lit up yesterday. Kansas City. Nelson Velasquez had 2 home runs. Brady Singer, this will probably be my biggest regret, but I'm not going to brag, but I have the best team currently in my season-long league. I had Brady Singer. I dropped him after a couple of bad games. I'll probably regret that. Overall, 133 plate appearances against the Twins, 299 batting average. So I wanted to dig in a little bit. I wanted to see, is it one player? Like, is it one person that hits him well, or is it a ton of people? Like Kepler batting 250, 2 home runs. Buxton batting 467, 2 home runs. Larnack, 5 for 10, that's batting 500 with 1 home run. Those are Willie Castro, 4 for 18 with a home run. So you have some of those guys. But other than that, Brady Singer's been phenomenal outside of a couple of starts. 2.63 ERA, 4-2 record, 64 strikeouts. He has faced the Twins already once this year, got the dub, 7 innings, 0 earned runs, 10 strikeouts in that game. I kind of feel, was that at home? Yeah, that was at home. Now he's on the road. 36.2 there. If you look at his splits, his road away, 3.60 ERA compared to 2.16 at home. I'm still looking at Brady Singer. He is expensive. Again, a 3-game slate. Weather shouldn't be a concern. I'm kind of looking at that. Brady Singer will be in some of my lineups. Chris Paddock, 4.39 ERA, 50 strikeouts. I mean, he has not faced Kansas City this year. Overall in his career, 13 plate appearances, nothing going on. I would still rather focus on Kansas City bats. Obviously, Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez are the top 2. Nelson Velasquez, everyone's going to be on him. Monster Wednesday night. Vinny Pasquantino would be another one I'd look at. You could look a little bit of MJ Melendez or Michael Garcia if you want to get cheaper with a Kansas City stack or you want to find a way into it. Maybe Garrett Hampson makes his way in there. Maybe Daron Blanco, Adam Frazier. I really don't know. I think you want to stick with the main people. And then once the lineup comes out, luckily it's early in the day, so we'll already know. We can then pull, like, it's a getaway day. It's a Thursday. It's an early game. That means I'm pretty sure that means they're going to be flying out. I have not looked at the schedule. So we might see some value open up here. Hunter Renfroe could be value. Freddie Fermin, I don't know, depending on the lineup. But I think you want to look at the main 5 guys right up here. And if you want to sprinkle in some value, get a little bit of value depending on when the lineup comes out. And then the Twins bats, if you think Brady Singer's not going to have a good game, Larnach, if he's in there, I'm okay with that. Buxton, I'm okay with that. Max Kepler, I'm okay with that. Willie Castro, I don't mind. Ryan Jeffers, I usually like to use him more against lefties, but I could see that. But I think I'll probably be looking at a little bit more of Brady Singer than Chris Paddock or the Twins bats today. Then we got the Cubs at the Brewers. We saw Amanaga get lit up for the first time. And then we saw Kyle Hendricks come in and give up some runs. I think it's time for them to take Kyle Hendricks out back. Give him the old Yeller treatment. He's got a 10-plus ERA. It's wild. But yeah, looking at that, Jameson Taillon, 80 plate appearances against the Brewers, 22.5 K percentage, 267 batting average, 5% walk rate. Colin Ray, on the other hand, 16 plate appearances, 125. Honestly, this slate stinks. I won't go against that. Taillon, splits-wise, he's faced Milwaukee once this year, went 6 innings, 0 earned runs, 7 Ks. We saw them put up a ton of runs yesterday. We did. Taillon, he's had 3 bad games in a row against St. Louis, Pittsburgh, and Atlanta, but the last good game he had was against Milwaukee. We could look at that. That was at home, which is a little bit better of a hitter's ballpark than Milwaukee is. I don't know what we're going to get out of him. Very low strikeouts. Had 7 in that game. If he could go 6 innings, 7 strikeouts, no earned runs again, I would absolutely take that, especially at 8,300. He is 900 more than he was when he faced them last time, though. That's the problem. Then you got Colin Ray against Boston. 13.2 fantasy points. He's got almost a 4 ERA, 4-2 record. I am not looking at him. I'm looking at the bats is what I'm looking at. So if we look into the bats a little bit for both sides, I think I'd favor the Cubs a little bit more, but Suzuki, Chris Morel, Ian Happ, Dansby Swanson, Bellinger, I like. Cheaper options would be Michael Busch or Mike Tauchman, depending on who's in there. Nico Horner, if he's in there, could be a sneaky option. You could see Patrick Wisdom. It just depends. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. I favor the Cubs a little bit more, but let's not go against the Brewers. We could look at William Contreras. If he starts, I don't know. It's kind of like a Sunday, so Thursdays sometimes catchers sit if they're going out on a road trip. Christian Yelich had a monster bomb on Wednesday against Amanaga. I think it was like 422 or 425. Just a moonshot. Jake Bauers would be a cheap first base lefty option against Jameson Taillon if you don't think he's going to do well. You could look at Jackson Chourio. You could look at Joey Ortiz as well. Those guys I do not mind at all. I'd favor a little bit. I'd favor Taillon just a little bit more than I would Colin Ray. But I do love the Cubs bats today. Then the Astros at the Mariners is the game we can't play. It's in the middle. For whatever reason, it's just in between those two. So it's not one you would be looking at. If you're playing like a single game, obviously Logan Gilbert. Arrighetti had a good last start. You could look at him. But if you're playing Showdown, you got to get both teams. So I don't mind either pitcher, but again, we can't really cover this game because it's not on the slate. And you're not going to play the all-day slate on FanDuel just because you've got 3 hours in between these two start times and then 3 hours in between the main slate and this game. It's a really weird time. It's a really weird schedule. So we got the Tigers at the Red Sox. You got Jack Flaherty, who's looked absolutely amazing, versus Nick Pivetta. You know, Nick Pivetta is kind of boring, I'm not going to lie. But you've got Jack Flaherty here at 8,700. He's got a 3.84 ERA. 2 good starts, one against Toronto, one against Arizona. Houston, middle of the road, still hit the value that we needed. Cleveland, a little bit down from the value. Splits-wise, obviously has not faced Boston this year. In his career, 30 plate appearances, 310 batting average. So, obviously, Jack Flaherty being with The Cardinals for so many years didn't really see Boston much. So overall, it's probably players that weren't on Boston before. But Flaherty has looked good when we've seen him. And then we look at this. Boston's offense, and it's weird because the fact that I'm sitting here and saying that I like Detroit's offense a little bit more than Boston is saying something. Tyler O'Neill just got put on the IL yet again, like death taxes O'Neill on the IL. So that's a huge bat out of there for Boston. And then you got Nick Pivetta here. So we got Nick Pivetta, 7,800, 4.20 ERA, 33 strikeouts. Home games, he's got a 7 ERA in 2 games, 7 earned runs with 2 home runs at home. Coming off a terrible start against Milwaukee, -2.5. Had a couple of great starts in between there against St. Louis and Tampa Bay. But then Atlanta cooked him. He cooked against Oakland, which would make sense, and Seattle. So he's been up and down. Again, I despise this entire slate all day. There's not a lot to like. I'd rather focus on Flaherty, and I'd rather look at some of the Detroit bats. Matt Vierling, Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, Winfield Perez, I don't mind. Depending on who's catching, either Carson Kelly or Jake Rogers, you could look at. Be cheaper options there. If you think Jack Flaherty's not going to do well and you think he's going to get hit hard, obviously Tyler O'Neill being out's a pretty big bat gone. You still got Rafi Devers. You still got Jarren Duran. You still got Wilyer Abreu. Those 3 guys are there. A cheap option if you want a lefty bat against Flaherty, you could be looking at Dom Smith a little bit. Cheaper down further a little bit, Vaughn Grissom or Rafaela. I don't mind. I don't love those guys. In my mind, I don't even know if I'll play this slate at all, but I kind of like Detroit just edged out a little bit over Boston today. Then we got the Diamondbacks at the Mets. You got Zach Gallen versus Christian Scott. I don't know if you saw the news from Wednesday, but Jorge, we had an incident in the game where the Mets are metting. Jorge Lopez got ejected, threw his glove into the stands, then came out post game and said he is on the worst team in the MLB, which is true. The Mets are very bad. And then I sent that to a group text, and then I said, I bet he gets DFA'd soon. And then 2 minutes after I sent that, he got DFA'd. So the keyword of the day is going to be Jorge. Jorge is the keyword. Jorge. Just, the Mets are metting. It's wild. They're metting pretty early in the season, too. But you got Zach Gallen, 89 plate appearance, 225 against a reeling Mets team in Citi Field, which is a pitcher's park. I love Zach Gallen here. We look at his numbers. He's 9,500. He is expensive. 3.12 ERA. He has not faced the Mets this year. Not the best start against Miami, but I like him in this matchup here. I would not be surprised to see 8+ strikeouts out of him. I'm all in on looking the way the Mets are playing. I'm all in on looking at Zach Gallen. I'm all in on the Arizona bats as well. Ketel Marte, Jock Peterson, Christian Walker, Lourdes Gurriel Jr., maybe Corbin Carroll turns a corner. Had a good game on Wednesday. I'd be looking at these guys. You could look a little bit at, you could look a little bit at Blaze Alexander. You could look at Eugenio Suarez too. I don't mind. I really want nothing to do with the Mets. I want nothing, and they just lost Pete Alonso and Edwin Diaz Wednesday. So Edwin went on the IL with a shoulder problem. So far, what I read was Alonso's x-rays came back negative, but doesn't mean there's not a break with an MRI. So it's definitely something to look at. So a big bat out of there. Give me all the Zach Gallen. Give me the Diamondbacks as a stack there. Then you got the Nationals at the Braves. You got Trevor Williams versus Reynaldo Lopez. Williams has been surprising this year. He's seen a ton of the Braves, 129 plate appearances, 275 batting average, 17.8 K percentage. Then you got Reynaldo Lopez, 30 plate appearances, 143 batting average. Another surprise. Both of these guys are surprises. Lopez his price has dropped down, though. He was, look at this, 9,700, 9,700, 9,500. It was up there. So had a couple of down. I mean, the games have been down a little bit. And if you were in our Discord yesterday, I loved a Washington stack. and they put up, 8 or 9 on Wednesday. We were all over Keibert Ruiz. He had a 2-run single late in the game, got us the fantasy points we needed. Lopez, he's come back down to earth a little bit. I will admit that. I knew it wasn't sustainable. But we look at that, and it's like, yeah, that's Lopez. And then you've got Trevor Williams. He's down here at 6,500 because he's facing that Braves today. 2.29 ERA, it was lower, obviously. 4-0 record, 43 strikeouts. Bad game against Philly. But the problem with Trevor Williams, he rarely gets out of the 5th inning. Had 8 Ks against Seattle, 22.3. They've dropped his price down 6,500. Tournaments, I'm okay with Trevor Williams. I don't trust him. But in tournaments, I'm okay because he is cheap at 6,500. The problem is he doesn't go deep into games. That's the only knock on him. And then Lopez, we might be just looking at bats in this one. Again, I don't love these slates. Obviously, bats against Williams would be Marcell Ozuna's been on fire. Matt Olson, Michael Harris, Jared Kelenic, like all these lefties I could look at. Ozzie Albies is a switch hitter. You've got these guys. And then Washington bats, Joey Gallo, he's going to be a dad. His career batting average is like 188, which is wild. Going to be a dad now was with a model who they said it was Oakland Raiders or Vegas Raiders owner Mark Davis, but it wasn't. It's Joey Gallo. Random. I could look at him for tournaments. Eddie Rosario, Jesse Winker, CJ Abrams, Luis Garcia Jr. I could look at. I don't mind a little bit of Lane Thomas. I don't mind a Washington stack here against Lopez. I think people are going to be on Lopez, but he's kind of come back down to earth a little bit. And then the final game, the Yankees at the Angels. Carlos Rodon versus Patrick Sandoval. For whatever reason, the Yankees cannot hit in this ballpark. I don't know why. They've struggled more than they've had success overall in this ballpark. They should be able to hit lefties well. Sandoval has actually been pretty good against them. 63 plate appearances, 154. Rodon has turned things around. Rodon started off slow. We know it, but he's got 2.66 ERA, 6-2 record, 57 strikeouts. Splits-wise has not faced the Angels this year. Obviously, away games, 3.53 ERA, but I don't mind him here. Has given up 7 home runs on the road, but I would look at Rodon, and I would look at the Yankees bats. Anthony Volpe's got a massive hitting streak going on right now at the top of the lineup. It's wild because this lineup's so good. They just haven't been hitting in this series as much as you would think they would, especially against lefties. But they've got DJ LeMahieu batting 9th, a second leadoff there. So I don't mind DJ LeMahieu. He's very cheap. Anthony Volpe, obviously Soto, Judge, Stanton. I am looking at a Yankee stack. I'm not really looking at the Angels. The only ones that, let's say Rodon does struggle or whatever. Logan O'Hoppe, Taylor Ward, Joe Adell. Kevin Pillar does hit lefties well, and we did see him hit a home run against Nestor Cortez 2 nights ago. So I would look at those bats, but I'm more leaning towards the Yankees, and I'm more leaning towards Carlos Rodon. And that's it. That's the 7 games we broke down. We've checked it all. We looked at the bats. We looked at the pitching. Now we're going to give you the top 20 bats at each position, or top 20 bats overall after 10,000 simulations. Number 1, Aaron Judge. Number 2, Juan Soto. 3 is Chris Morel. 4 is CJ Abrams. 5 is Suzuki. 6 is Tauchman. 7 is Taylor Ward. 8, Bobby Witt Jr. 9, Michael Garcia. 10, Giancarlo Stanton. 11, Ryan Jeffers. 12, Cody Bellinger. 13, Austin Riley. 14, Willy Adames. 15, Marcell Ozuna. 16, Kevin Pillar. 17, Winfield Perez. 18, Ozzie Albies. 19, Anthony Volpe. And number 20, Salvador Perez against Chris Paddock. Now, looking at these stacks, I like the Royals as a stack. I like the Yankees as a stack. I like the Cubs as a stack as well. So there you have it. That's everything we've got. If you want to go check it out, MLB tab. We've got all of this information for you. Go check it out. It's $10 a week or $30 for a month. Get $10 off if you look at it that way. We've also got NASCAR this weekend. We've got PGA today. We've got MMA on Saturday as well. So if you've not checked out the website, go check it out. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. Good luck on this small slate. I think we're going to need it. Let's bring home some bacon. Peace.